Beautiful people, welcome to yet another episode of The Hope in Between with Major and my good sister, Eunice Elliott. Listen, we have had quite a week. I know Eunice is going to share some of the many things that she was up to, and of course, I'll do the same. But before we get into it, I want us to do what we always do before we decide to make another move, and that's catch our breath. This is essential. Make this the practice and habit of your daily living to assure that you are able to check the temperature and the status of who you are, why you are, and where you are. Let's be present in it by catching our breath. On the count of three, take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. Let it out. Remember to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. 1, 2, 3. Let it out. Now, this time I want you to think of all the circumstances that are clouding your mind, that are congesting your thoughts and taking up space. Any of the pulls, any of the responsibilities, the burdens, the frustrations, the anxieties, the worries, the triumphs, the good things, the amazing things, the not yet things, whatever it is, take it in on this breath that we inhale. 1, 2, 3. Let it out. That right there is surrender. Surrender to the greater power and work that is moving for you, through you, as a result of you. Beautiful people, we don't want to get into the habit of just being busy for the sake of busy. We don't want to get in the habit of making ourselves available to every single thing before we take intentional time to catch our breath. What it does is commands the moment to abide by the new pace that you're setting. The rush of life is always going to be a rush of life so long as you allow it to rush you. So take command by catching your breath. It's going to be okay. You're going to get through this one just like you got through the last one. All right. Welcome, beautiful people, to The Hope in Between. Eunice Elliott, tell me, how are you doing right now? And then tell me about what you were up to last week.
Okay, if you're familiar with the term, I can show you better than I can tell you.
Oh, drink it up, drink it up.
We started our little margarita cocktail a bit earlier than usual. You know what? I'm exhausted. I'm great. I'm wonderful. Exhausted. So the thing about being on tour is you get to kind of check out of your real life and have this like celebrity life, and people want your autograph and your pictures and hair and makeup, and you're on stage, and then you come home to your real life where your dog will, chew through something and you have to monitor them for disaster. So if you do hear someone chewing in the background, that's just because I'm letting her sitting here with me today because, there's 30 of these in here. They just arrived today. And
what are these?
These are advanced hip and joint supports for my older dog, not even the dog who ate all of them. And they're not cheap. And so they were delivered.
Oh, no.
They were in the box. They were delivered in, how you put a box down. And I went to the store to get some food for the week. And I came home and the box was open and this was empty. And I'm monitoring her for her overdose.
So is this dog sedated due to, are these like painkillers?
No, it's hip and joint support. So it's like glucosamine. It's just she's not supposed to take it. Yeah. In high doses. Okay. And so she has thrown up about 4 times so far. So I'm taking that as a positive. She is drinking water.
Yeah, it's coming out. Yeah.
So, but guess what you got to do once it comes out? You got to clean it up. repeatedly. So anyway, but I'm having a great time. Had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. We were in Charlotte, Atlanta, Greensboro, North Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina. And, this weekend, I really started feeling like I was performing, if that makes sense. Sometimes you have a show and you do your material, and sometimes you're on stage, you're like, I'm performing the hell out of it. I'm like, in Greensboro, because of the sound will really dictate how a show will go, right? And the sound at the Greensboro facility, I think it was the Stephen Tanger Center for Performing Arts, was so crisp and so clear, and I can hear me and I can hear them, and it just was one of my favorite shows I probably have ever done.
Yeah.
Really great. Now, I want to add this little caveat. What's interesting, and I know you get this based on the type music you perform, the type energy you exude, is people want to share with you how you've helped them, or people want to share with you what they were feeling and how you made them feel better.
Yes,
and that's such a
it's
gift.
A beautiful thing. It can be a beautiful thing for sure.
Such a gift, such a gift. But if you are an empath, it's like trauma dumping. So it's like, oh, okay, and it's like 3,000 people have to tell you why and how, and so I generally have formed kind of a little bit of a barrier for people's stuff. But one woman really got me. She came up to me and she said, oh my God. So the audiences are 99.999% white. Okay.
Yeah.
And she comes up to me, this white woman comes up to me after the show and she says, oh my God, I loved you so much. You remind me so much of my sister. So I said, is your sister Black? Because she could be, have a Black sister. And she said, no. I said, oh, okay. Because you said, I remind you so much of your sister. I thought maybe she was Black. She said, no. She said, but she's no longer with us. And just everything you said, it was like my sister was talking to me. So now I'm sitting here like, oh, wow. She said, yeah, I'm with my friend. I kept saying, oh my God, Angie said that. Oh my God, Angie said, oh my God, Angie, And I said, okay, well, can Angie give you a hug? And I hugged her. And I remember saying this like with the Disneyland characters or whatever. I didn't let go until she let go. The characters and the mascots, they're like trained to not let go. Let the person hugging you release first. So I let her release first, but it didn't come for a while, right? And again, that moment blessed me. It broke my heart. It built me up, all the things. But that was one that got in, right? And so by the time you get home from the travel and the logistics and the performing and the energy and the reset, you start your margarita a little bit earlier. And that's how I'm feeling. Great, wonderful, blessed, exhausted.
So 5 shows.
5 shows in 4 days in
wow, that's beautiful.
4 cities. Yeah.
That's good work. That's good work, and I'm proud of you, and I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm glad that more people get to experience you,
yes.
and your hilarity.
Because according to you, I already know everybody.
You do know a lot of people. Literally, who was that? Melanie.
Melanie Clark in Charlotte.
Yeah, yes, in Charlotte, my girl Melanie, who's known me for a long time, has known you also for a minute. I'm seeing
very long time.
She's like, what? Y'all know each other? Oh, and you have a podcast?
20 years. We used to have the exact same haircut, and people used to call us twin.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
But speaking of touring in cities, somebody made a little announcement last week.
I did. So yes, actually, I made the announcement as a gift back to my lovely supporters on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
That Major is going back on the road. It is a tour again. And it is the I Prayed For You live tour. I'm really excited about it. I hope to see as many of my supporters there as possible. If you got folks in LA, in DC, in Memphis, in Nashville, in Chicago, in New York, Philly, St. Louis, tell them to stop by, to check out I Prayed For You live. It's going to be intimate shows in support of my new single, I Prayed For You. I think it's a very necessary message to have with the good people. Of course, I'm going to sing more of the love songs that many know me for, but it's just going to be, you've experienced me live. It's hope.
Is truly an experience.
Hope. Yeah, it's a hope experience. Yeah. Hope in love, life, and in future. And you're going to get all of that. And you're going to feel like you can take over the world after and during. So I'm really excited about that. We just announced that people can go to nowthat'smajor.com livelihood.com/tour, and you can get all the information or click the link in my bio on Instagram. But I'm really excited about this one because a portion of proceeds are going to go towards LA fire relief and rebuild. So I'm excited to be able to contribute to the recovery, you know,
Right.
phase of those that were drastically impacted by the LA fires. But I'm really excited. It's seeming to get some good responses so far. Um, as an independent artist, it's not easy, putting together tours and whatnot because you got to go where they're interested and not where you just have an abundance of money to fund everything. You got to kind of make it all make sense. So I'm praying that we get a great turnout and it's impactful. I
It
think
is
it will
already
be.
done. It is already
Yeah,
done.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, congrats. That's exciting.
yeah.
And,
I
and and
also
again, if people have not seen you yet, please, 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 please don't shortchange yourself the opportunity because it really is a wonderful experience. It's I don't know. It's like I don't know how to describe it. A major on stage, it's like you can tell that you have ultimate and absolute confidence in your voice. And you will do runs and riffs and trills that I don't think were planned. It might be in reaction to somebody walking in with me right now, sit down in the
that's
front.
right.
I'm like, what? How
I'm
he
a
do
very
that?
present. I am a very present singer and artist.
Yes.
Like the moment informs me of
Hmm.
what we're giving back. And
Yes.
so that is very funny. I can call out people,
Yeah.
somebody that
And
walks
it'll
in
be
the
on
middle of a
key.
show.
It'll be on pitch. It'll be music. And I'm like, what? So yeah, it's a great show. Don't miss out for sure.
Yes, yes, indeed. So that is the I Prayed for You live tour. Make sure you get your tickets again. LA, DC, two shows in DC, Philly, New York, um, hitting up Shreveport right before I do Nashville, Memphis, and then St. Louis and Chicago. So check it out. I also went to All-Star Weekend. What a good
Yes, tell
time.
me about. I didn't even realize it was that weekend. I wasn't
You
invited
know,
to anything, so I guess it wasn't none of my business. Do tell.
but what's wild is that used to be your world. ESPN, like all
Yeah,
of the
I used
sports,
to be at the
everything.
Super Bowls, the All Stars, and now it's like if someone doesn't tell me it's happening, I have no connection to it whatsoever.
Yeah, well, it was a really good time. I was a special guest artist. They called me the headliner, but I didn't. I felt like one of an amazing roster of amazing talent for the All Star Gospel. Kevon Looney, they honored Gary Payton. That was super cool. And Pastor Mike McBride, a huge activist in the Bay Area. The theme was a love letter to the Bay. So, of course, I sang I Prayed for You and also Why I Love You. And let me tell you something about the Bay Area and their love for Why I Love You. The way they get behind that song is
You go
unlike
crazy.
any other. It's kind of wild. Two cities in particular are Oakland, the Bay Area, and Baltimore. And
Mhm.
I think Oakland is the Baltimore of the West. San Francisco is the New York of the West. But I love the energy because if they like you, they rocks
Mhm.
with you.
Yeah.
And so it feels really, really dope. And, that love letter to the Bay was very timely because, you know, uh, the Bay Area is really pivotal in shifting Black American culture for the better and fighting and advocating for our civil rights in so many ways. And a lot of brilliant minds come from that. But not only that, it was just a great time celebrating excellence in sports, particularly basketball, of course, and seeing so much excitement and good energy. And did you watch the games?
I
Any
didn't
of the
see
games?
anything. I was at work. Mm-mm.
Oh, that's right. Listen, ain't mad at it. In Vogue,
I keep hearing
made
about In Vogue. I do plan on trying to catch up this week on clips and I know In Vogue was a big deal because I think Maxine was with them.
yes, Maxine. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, the full band showed up. That was
yeah.
really cool. It was good to see Too Short. Um, and knowing that he just had a very uh, close death in his family. So it was just like, oh wow, to see him out there going. But it was good energy. It was
One
great
day I'll
energy.
tell you the story about writing a song for Too Short. I'll tell you that story one day.
I already know that's hilarious.
At his request.
Oh.
I'll tell you that story one day.
Well, you are one with words. So speaking of me arriving back home and checking my mail only to see that book. What is this book? Let me make sure we can read that.
Is that my book?
10 things your mama never told you, but mine did. And it says
unconventional wisdom to navigate a world that cares nothing about you or your feelings.
Ooh, that's by the author Eunice Elliott. There she is, huh?
That's
me. That look like you. Listen.
Yeah, that's my mama and me when I was a baby before I was photogenic.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that part. I didn't. Yeah. Wow.
So I can't wait for you to read it. It's really a quick read. Can't wait for you to consume it because a lot of what I say to you probably is in the book, right?
Right, and that's why I got it, because I was like, wait a minute, I have a feeling these jewels are documented.
Yes.
Because you be dropping jewels. I may not always agree with some of your perspectives, but the jewels you be dropping, I'm like, yeah.
Thank you. I received that. Let me tell you. I had a lot of moments this weekend that I got to speak life into several people, and that'll take us into our topic, I believe. But I am in a place where I don't think I have anything figured out. I don't think I know it all or most. However, I am very clear about communication and human dynamics. And I think that's my space to where sometimes that's where people kind of mess up the most. And I'm like, hey, but can you hear? You and I want to say, good looking out to you. You and I had a good conversation you followed up with. I was good looking out, proud of you. But sometimes, you can say, hey, I'm on the outside of this and I understand from the inside, you don't have the perspective from the outside. And I think I'm getting a lot better about offering people an outside perspective for the situation that they see from one way only, which is theirs. Doesn't mean they're wrong. Doesn't mean they're right. But just say, hey, let me offer you a little bit more of a full picture. And see if that's what you want to stand on, And so I did that a lot this weekend. But our topic this week, you suggested, and I didn't. Usually sometimes I'll ask you the context of the topic, we'll throw it out. And I decided to be surprised with how you give me today's topic, which is Knuck if you buck.
Knuck if you buck. Knuck if you buck. Listen.
What?
Listen.
So what are you talking about?
I just want to say that what we're running up against is a lot of people bucking, but not knucking. And the thing is, they got a whole lot of raw, but no backing up. And they do it behind the keyboard. They do it behind your back. They do it in moments where you're nowhere around. And they talk heavy. And, last week, we talked about watch your mouth. And listen, while we are working to build the audience all the more for our show, do know there are a number of people that are watching and that are very, very grateful for it. My brother Scotty, shout out to Scotty Smith of Scotty Smith and Associates. He also has an incredible new luxury camping site with these luxury cabins, mini cabins. They're beautiful, at Lake Noir, lakenoir.com. So make sure you check that out. It's beautiful. But he's definitely always into the motivational reads and the podcast and whatnot. But he has certainly put our podcast on his list of go-to podcasts. And so he sends him and my mom specifically, they send reminders like, guys, y'all want to check out episode 15? And he puts it in the chat and he says, I encourage everyone to listen to this episode. It's so good. And then my mom's like, I watched it on Wednesday. Everybody needs to tune in. It's great. And so funny too. I love those weekly blogs. And then Scotty also said, ain't no way this woman just said she's almost 50.
what?
And she
I
said,
keep getting that. I get that on the road too, because I talk about turning 50 during my stand-up.
yeah.
And all these people come up to me and they say, there is no way you're 50. And I say, I'm not 50. They're like, oh, okay. I was like, I'll be 50 in May. And they're like, no way. And y'all gonna get me to drink some water, eat a vegetable. Y'all about to hype me up and make me try.
Listen, you're doing it, and it's great. But when we talked about the watch your mouth, which was the wisdom clarion call to listen, like before you put something out there, think about what you're doing, because with it comes consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And also sometimes you're moving your mouth before you have the full download of information on what is really happening.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, just like you were speaking about how you've helped people, there's a perspective that you're missing, because there's only so much that we can see from our angle, our viewpoint. And so, and our limitation of understanding of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Knuck If You Buck kind of naturally came out of my frustration of, listen, it's so many heavy talkers that don't back up any of it. And it's like, yo, keep the same energy when you see me.
Well, what does that mean for you? It means people, if they're talking behind your back, you want them to say it to your face. And I'm asking, and then what? And then what happens?
Listen, and then it can be whatever it's gonna be. No. Listen,
it ain't gonna be nothing. That's my point. I'm saying, what I mean, your personality, I'm asking because we're still getting to know each other. I know how things affect you when they come back to you and they're hurtful, and I want to take you outside and roll you around in the rocks and toughen you up. So you're telling me if some of this stuff that you hear second and third hand was in your face in real time, you're gonna be knucking and bucking?
Let me tell you.
Let me hear this.
Knucking.
How so?
I don't need to buck because they've already bucked, so they are requesting a knuck. I just need people to understand that one of the things that happens often is because I am an empath, people misinterpret that as he's not going to handle up if he has to, until they unfortunately find out. And it's the FAFO shirt that you have. And I hate that part of me, that side of me, but a lot of people test it. And I endure quite a bit. Like I endure quite a bit where I'm like just kind of like talking through, and as an empath with emotional intelligence, where I'm actually able to give language to what I feel and what I think other people are intending when they do what they do. Mm-hmm. It often kind of levels me out to where I don't have to get enraged. But my thing, if a person continues, I then bark back, and then what happens is I then pounce back, and then what happens is I am then the one who's in the wrong, because they're like, you took it too far. And I'm like,
but they started
nothing. You said nothing as they did all of this stuff. And the thing is, I warn people, literally every fight that I've ever had in my life, I literally talk people through it. I say, this isn't what you want to do. Like, you don't want to do this. You may want to cheat.
Don't you see how that, for someone who's starting a situation with you, can you see that if you say this isn't what you want to do, that's kind of an invitation to do it?
And that's all I'm saying. If they accept the invitation, let's go. But a lot of people don't accept the invitation. They return to sender. Right. Because a lot of them are used to being able to critique without accountability.
And so I'm gonna offer you the accountability is on you, not on them, though.
Not fully. But let me hear what you mean by that.
Because you're saying they need to be accountable for what they're saying. Meaning, if they said it, stand up, say it with your chest, say it to my face. You want them to be accountable for what they said, right? The accountability is on you, because you're the one being affected by what they said allegedly, right? It's affecting you in a negative way. It's affecting you in a way that it's something negative or bad about you, or something that's upsetting to you, or something that may or may not be true, or their perception, but they didn't say it to your face. The accountability is on you to master your emotions and master your reactions to things that have nothing to do. What people think and say about you has nothing to do with you. That's on you.
No. If it routes back to me and it affects the way in which people perceive me, because one of the unfortunate realities in our industry is reputation is often what drives the way in which audience engages you. And so if you have too much negativity moving about you or criticism moving about you, and it gets to certain people that are connected to the access of that which you want to access, it can get in the way of money. It can get in the way of opportunity. It can get in the way of other many things. I'm not saying I'm literally knucking at every single person who's bucked at me, because I would be knucking all day long. Like, that's not my thing. My thing is, once you start impeding on things that are now affecting my bottom lines or now affecting my well-being, I feel that something has to be done to nip it. Now, I'm not saying that I'm literally going to fight everybody, but what I will do is address it. And I know at the end of the day, me and my wife had our devotional today, and it was super dope. It was talking about anger, and there's a such thing as selfish anger, and there's a such thing as productive anger, and there also biblically is a such thing as righteous anger. Because at the end of the day, what people are told not to feel, and this is the frustration, people try to tell you, don't get angry. Don't let that make you angry. Don't do whatever. But you can't tell a person what to feel and how to feel. It's just encourage them how to manage what they feel. Because at the end of the day, my anger could be valid. My pissed offness, righteous anger got us to the point where we can have a podcast at any point of the day that we want to, put it on the World Wide Web, and not be subjected to racial bias that says, no, you can't have a podcast because you're Black anymore. Because we've broken through what was once a suppressed reality, an oppressed reality, where righteous anger said absolutely not so, and fought to break through it. And so I'm saying, yes, I do believe that there's accountability for myself to manage my emotions, but I also think that it is a healthy level to address certain things with people to help them understand, I'm not that guy. This is not what you want.
Right. So I'm still going to put the accountability back on you on several levels.
But I won't accept it.
That's fine.
So go ahead. Okay.
So if someone is saying something or offering information that to you is not true or accurate, but could be affecting your bottom line, your opportunities, your invitations, because it's negative, something somebody's putting out about you, that's still a moment for you to take accountability and say, what interactions have I had with this person that either they have processed it this way, or that they are just pulling this up out of the sky. They hate me this much, or they're this close to me that they're jealous, whatever it is. That's still an accountability of, okay, this is a person that has it out for me. Okay. Now, I think both of us could probably think of times when someone may have misunderstood what we said and taken it a certain way and ran with it, right? And we may find out about it, and we may not ever find out about it. But at the end of the day, if it was brought to us, it would be on us to be accountable to, okay, that was not my intention, and I see how you said that. It could be things like, I had this conversation with someone this weekend. I said, listen, if you have an issue with someone, for me, it's a problem to offer them the issue in a list, because that means you did not address the first issue in real time. Okay, so you can't come to me and say, and then the other day you did this, and then you did this, and then you did, and I'm like, okay, so now a person is just going to be defensive to that. If we have a miscommunication, a misunderstanding in real time, I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I think I'm misunderstanding what we were going to do here. Let's clear it up right here. It's not a confrontation. It's not an argument. It's just, oh, okay, we're having a misunderstanding of something that either expectation I had or you had, and we're not on the same page. Let's figure it out. Okay, great. But if you don't speak on that, right, then you're adding a list. So no one's allowed to come to me with a list of things I've done to offend or harm them. You can get the last one to set you over the edge. You can offer me that one in real time. But if you say, and then that time, and then that time, then that's not on me. That's on you, right? But if you bring it to me in real time, I can say, okay, definitely was not my intention. So I'm glad you said something to me about that. And clear it up, right? So now they're not festering and creating a narrative that then they share with other people that was never based in truth. The way people know that they can do that is that I show them, I lead by example. They know, and it's not a confrontation. It's not a heart to heart. It's not confronting everything. It's just communication. It's, hey, I think when you said that, or I said this, I'm not sure that we were on the same page. Okay, yeah, no, I meant that. Yeah, I meant that. Okay, great. Yeah, we're good. Move forward. And you dissipate what could fester into a bad situation that becomes a whole other thing. The other part of the accountability is, regardless of what someone else is doing, that still doesn't have nothing to do with you. And it could be negative about you. It could be, this is a quote I saw this weekend. It says, the person who stays calm in the chaos controls the room. Master your emotions. That's all you can do. That's all you can be accountable for is, you know what? This person is trying to take me there. I see this, but I'm not going to warn them to not take me there. I'm not going to invite me to take me there. I'm going to master my emotions and remain the calm in this chaos. I don't offer them any of that because it's not for me, but I'm accountable for that part. One of my favorite things about me is a character flaw, which is I like to eviscerate people with my words. I like to hurt them and put them on suicide watch. Okay. Now, that is not productive, but it does make me happy when I feel like someone has begged for it. Right. And I always say, you don't want negative attention from me. If I'm ignoring you, don't keep doing negative stuff to get my attention, because once you get it, you can't lose it, which is a character flaw. When I master myself, as I master myself, each day is a challenge to master myself. Man, it just works out so much better when I don't even give them the opportunity to make the smoke rise. You might be trying to light a fire over there, baby, but I'm not going to give you no oxygen to let that smoke rise. Now what?
So with this, like I think that's great for a lot of people. I think it's great partially for myself, but I can't accept it fully because my scenarios are not always about people that are in my circle or in my community. I think you've lived in a way that you have operated a certain way to where things aren't going to hit you the same way that they hit me. Mm-hmm. I make myself quite available to a lot of people in ways that you don't.
Right.
You don't make yourself available to people like that. Like, so people aren't going to chomp at you the same way or chomp about you possibly.
But that's still me being accountable for people's access to me to do that, right?
And right. And so that's why I said partially some of it I will agree to, but I can't accept that every single thing qualifies for the same response. Because yes, I think some people deserve to get a tap on their forehead, to be like, or a thump, to be like, hey, you went a little too far this time. Because at the end of the day, we won't know unless there are consequences. And I don't think that I'm revving myself up to show them how I can put them in their place. It's just, my thing is, Knuck, if you buck, if you're going to continue bucking, and I'm qualifying bucking as saying the stuff, jabbing, throwing the negatives, follow it up so that I'll know what we're dealing with. And I know that you are a person of not just word, but action. So now I have that you kept this energy with me. So now I know how to deal with you. My thing, really what I'm saying in all of this is, let's not hide who we are or how we feel about a person and waste valuable emotional exchange, because one thing you can never get back is time.
Exactly. That is why I disagree with you.
Investing a
because
lot of time.
Why does somebody have to show you in 15 different platforms and formats that they being negative? What I'm saying to you is the access you allow to yourself. You can be open to everybody in the world. When somebody shows up and offers you that, you don't have to then say, okay, now do it to my face. Okay, now do it on Tuesday. Okay, go across this line and do it. Okay, come over here and do it. It's like they already told you.
No, you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. Knuck, if you buck, is not every single time you say something, I need you to show it to my face. It's
I'm saying show the negative. The negative.
You can show me once, you can show me twice. I will see it, and now I know. But what I'm saying is, it's frustrating. I'm speaking to the frustration of keyboard bullies, of people that are in our industry, when it circles around and you're wondering why, maybe somebody's looking at you this way, or somebody literally has believed a story that is not true. because I am an extreme giver. I help a lot of people. And my thing is, Knuck if you buck, so that I can then, once you Knuck in my presence, I can then show you, hey, so why don't we just deal with it this way, where we're just going to end or sever the relationship. So now you got to deal with real consequences. Now I'm dealing with, oh, so-and-so says this, so-and-so felt this, or so-and-so did this. And our industry, unfortunately, you can say every single thing you want. Our industry thrives off of people passing along negative information. You will literally not be able to be in any circle unless you like, if you choose not to hear anything negative. That's literally the culture. So and so said this, so and so said this. Oh, I'm trying to reach this person. Oh, yeah, they feel this. And so you can't help but to see it, and but to be faced with the reality that negativity and naysayers and all of that stuff is a very real thing. And so, yes, the management of my response to it is one thing, but my thing is I want to take it a step further in. Listen, I've heard that you have much to say. If you have much to say, let me know how you really feel. Because I also don't think it's fair to believe the report of someone telling me that so-and-so said this, because like we talked about last week, what were you doing to where these people can freely feel that they can just talk like this about me if we're cool? And so I have learned, also be careful taking people's report.
Right, but I think even if you take that report from someone without hearing it directly from that person, or saying, hey, I heard you say that, say it to me so I know that's how you feel, you'll see how people move. People are convicted.
And that's and yes, I have seen.
So it still doesn't have to be a question or double down. It's people reveal themselves in their actions. You see when you're not invited. You see how they talk to you when you do show up. You see how they are in those spaces. I don't think you have to hear it directly from them. Yes, take it with a grain of salt when it comes back to you from a bone collector. So that's what I'm saying. So that's still on you to master your emotions, to say, oh, somebody said that. Okay, that has nothing to do with me. And then even dealing with that person, yeah, okay, you've been alerted. We said this person moves around me. You still don't have to then say, hey, did you say this? Or I heard you say that, or come say it to me. It's okay, I'm seeing how this person moves. I have enough sense to know that they probably did say that based on how they're engaging with me, based on how they're moving in my spaces. And as far as the circle that you move in the industry, comedians, I would assume are worse than musicians and artists. Well, everybody's the same kind of crazy.
No,
I was having this conversation with my mom. And if I get a great opportunity, my mom will ask me about, what do my peers say? Do they congratulate you? Do they say, wow, they're great? I said, no, they generally say, how'd you get that? you know?
Isn't that something?
Right? And so for me, they're not the
ones. And that's what's frustrating, but it's
not frustrating.
You grew up different.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
You grew up different.
I get that, but what I'm saying to you is because
I know to the person that is like me, not you.
I understand that.
So what
I'm offering you my perspective. I can't double down on your perspective. You're offering your perspective, and I'm offering my perspective, which is obviously different. So when I offer
from a personality, I'm saying offer it from
1,000%.
If you were. Yeah,
I can't offer it from something I don't know and haven't experienced. So I can't offer that.
But you've experienced enough people.
And that's why I'm saying you have to master yourself, because you're not going to change anybody. You're not going to fix anybody. Guess what? Somebody who's talking negatively about you feeds off of you confronting them. That's that energy. They want that negative engagement. They don't care what they want your attention. They don't care if it's positive, if it's negative. They want some smoke. And so guess what? I can't give you that. If that's how you feel about me, that is your right. That is your privilege. We just won't be in that circle. And that's fine. Do you know how many people are missing out on the front row seat of my life? Do you know how many people I've tried to have in front row VIP in my life, that if they are in the balcony, if they in the cheap seats, no, they just see what happened when everybody else allowed themselves to love me. I ain't nowhere worried about what they doing. I wanted them there at some point, but everybody can't be there. and let him be what he's gonna be.
I think your interpretation of where I'm at is you believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, you believe that I am literally responding to everybody that says something negative to me.
No, I don't think you respond to most of them.
Exactly.
But I do think it bothers you.
A lot of it does bother me.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
From certain angles. Yes, it does bother me because our literal industry is moved forward by way of the way in which your audience engages with you. So if I'm in a space, because this is one thing that I can do well, you tell me privately some criticism, I'll work through that thing. I'm trying to figure it out. You do it in front of people, I just blank out. I just black out.
But
that's
like, the ego being bruised, right?
I'm just like, oh no, you did this to embarrass me.
But that's the ego being bruised.
Of course, yeah. Of course, that's ego being.
But that's still for you to take accountability for.
I think there should always be a healthy level of ego in all things. I don't think there should be.
Yeah, but you still have to take accountability for your levels of it. You know, I've told you that somebody can offer me something, and then whether it's ego, pride, or just me feeling a certain kind of way about myself, I say, well, I don't receive that. And other times I can say, you know what, I can see that. Whether I'm working on it or not, what you have perceived and offered me, I can see that. Something else, people have offered me plenty of things, and I say, well, I don't receive that. That's not for me.
Kendrick Lamar and Drake. It's a Knuck if you buck situation. It's like you say it with your chest, prove it. And the Knuck is not necessarily just I have to fight you, violently, physically. It's let me put it in music. Like that's my fight back. Let me do it with let me ask me about it in an interview. Let me really speak in public. The bucking happens so much so where people do this separately, but now we're seeing Kendrick knucked. He knucked back. Drake is trying to knuck back. And it's not necessarily hitting as hard, but these are the things like we can live a life that does not have all of this embarrassment if we simply watch our mouth. Last episode, so make sure you check it out.
And I think that's also when I said there's no museums for people who always got something to say. It's the museums are for the people that do. So I'm saying, guess what? Lions ain't worried about what the sheep over there talking about. That's all I'm saying. And that's an accountability piece. I'm going to bring up an example from last week. My good dear friend Marlon Wayans and Soulja Boy on the internet beefing. Okay. And if I had to say relevance or success, of course, I'm going to lean towards Marlon being a movie star. But Soulja Boy says something about Marlon in response to something Marlon said about a situation involving Soulja Boy, took exception to it. And my friend has the same character flaw I have. His mouth started watering, and it seemed like he had his alarm set every 15 minutes. I'm about to say something else about Soulja Boy.
Oh,
right?
Gosh.
And I'm like, friend, you're a movie star. Let it go. Now, are you enjoying it? I know you enjoyed it. Are you just licking your chops? Yes, I know all of that. But you're a movie star. Going back and forth with Soulja Boy. So now you're giving Soulja Boy the energy and attention he has always dreamed of having from you. Even though it's negative, he's in the same conversation with you. So even though he's being embarrassed, he's being talked about, everybody, he's winning because now we are saying their names in the same sentence when that never should have been. That's all I'm saying is people, the negative comments on the internet, those are the ones I want to respond to more so than the ones that say, oh my God, I love you. The one that said, I didn't like you and I didn't like what you had on. That's the one that let me get her. But I also know this is a person that wants my attention. And so I'm going to have more power in not giving it to them because that's all they can feed off of is negativity.
So
that's the only reason they offer me negativity is because they feed off negativity. People who offer you love feed off love. That's the source.
So let me say this. For the people that are listening, if you're perfect like Eunice,
oh my gosh, you are so dramatic. You are so dramatic. I've mentioned my character flaws
and criticism, and if criticism never bothers you,
I didn't say criticism never bothers me. I said I don't feed it.
I will say
criticism is set up to bother you. I said those are the ones that I will respond to because it's like, wow, how dare you? I can have 100 people love me. I'm going to want to respond to the one that did. That's exactly what I said. And then you respond with, well, you're just perfect. People. I'm saying to you, you have to kill it with not feeding it.
If y'all, like, I know Eunice is perfect, but I want to speak to all of the people that are, I want to speak to the people that are sensitive, because that's a real trait. That's a real trait. And you shouldn't even be, because sensitivity shows up in strength in many other ways. But this is a particular area for some of us where hearing negative about our good efforts can really do a number on you, because as creatives, especially, or as visionaries that work to build something to come to pass, you put a lot of heart in that thing, and so your heart is attached to the work of your hands. And so I want to encourage you to catch your breath, to factor in if their opinion really matters. A lot of times it doesn't. But if you feel, in my opinion, that you need to address it without emotion. Run your emotional course by yourself. Let it vent, let it emote, then address it directly and move on. 2, to the keyboard bullies that are watching and happen to be listening right now. To the behind the scenes backstabbers, talkers, crap starters. Chill out. Chill out with that. Because there's a lot of people that, one, could either end your life or will be so impacted that they end up ending their own life. Be mindful of the words that you say. I'm confident no one wants the reciprocation of that happening to them. Be mindful. It's not always worth getting the laugh if it's going to shut somebody down. Be mindful. A lot of us are dealing with mental health issues on the real for real. We're just trying to get to the next day. Watch your mouth. If you're going to buck, be ready to deal with the knuck that comes as a result. But before you buck, think, is it even worth it? That's all I'm asking.
Let me offer something from my perfect perspective, please.
Yes.
Even if we talk about me retiring from dating from 2021, I'm one of the most sensitive people I've ever met. That's why I have to create boundaries, because when my feelings get hurt because they're true and authentic and raw, it's devastating. And everybody can't have access to them. So I've had to create a way that, hey, everybody can't offer me things because I am sensitive. Some people will build up a brick wall and they can't even see out of it because of the sensitivity. Not because they're so hard and they don't care. They care that much. Now, for the people that have been married 18 times and 15 babies, baby, I'm like, you out here. It don't affect you the way it affects me. It affected me in such a way that I had to say, whoo, this is hurting too much. And I see other people just getting off the horse and getting on that, so let me try again. Oh, no. That hurts me in a different kind of way because I was being genuine in what I offered. So that is why I am who I am today. I'm not bricked off. I'm not alone. I receive what I need and where I can trust it from. Because guess what? It's not so much, hey, if you do it to someone, they might do it to you. It's more than likely they're doing it to you because it's already been done to them. Hurt people hurt people. So I can have compassion for you from a distance, but I'm not going to engage and let you offer it to me as mine. That's all I'm saying.
Beautiful people, you heard her. She is a wise woman. This is yet another episode of The Hope in Between with Major and my sister, Eunice Elliott. Until next time, be well, catch your breath, and knuck if they buck. No, all right.
There you go.
Peace.
Bye.